So I just got done with my kind of easy recovery run just Tuesday. I was getting ready to go home and film the rest of this. But I figured, like, I did my recovery run on the North Greenway here, and I got to show this to you. Like, this is, like, is there not, like, a more picturesque place to get some easy miles in on some soft gravel, in the trees, no cars, barely any people, no dogs. It was amazing. And it's like fairly cool. It's humid, but it's overcast, fairly cool. Don't get me wrong. I'm looking forward to go home and eat some more food after yesterday. But anyway, yeah, I just wanted to show that to you because, man, North Rock Island Greenway. It's a great place. This is where I get to do my easy runs.
So we're back, folks. Another weekly update in our quest to re-qualify for Boston. So, as of today, Tuesday, at the time of filming, yesterday, on Monday, the new qualifying standards for Boston came out, and not a big surprise. My qualifying time changed from 3:10 to 3:05. Again, I don't think that really matters a ton. I don't think it actually changes how fast you actually need to run to be able to actually qualify, to actually get in. You just have a better estimate of what that range is. So instead of having to be 7 or 8 minutes under the qualifying time, you're going to need to be 2 to 5. The end result is you're still going to have to run the same time to actually get in. And given that we're targeting 2:50, we're 15 minutes under the new standard is the target. So I think we'll be fine, right? So yeah, there's that. So this week, this past week was recovery week. It was a down week, little fewer miles. We only ran like 46-ish miles, something like that. 46 miles, including what Strava thinks are miles from lift sessions. So a little bit of a down week, felt kind of good. I didn't quite get caught up on sleep as much as I wanted to, mostly because the 4-year-old kept waking us up at like 4 o'clock in the morning trying to destroy the house. Whether it was putting step stools on top of step ladders to reach the top shelf, which has heavy bags of tools in it that you can pull down and kill himself, to find flashlights or emergency fans, or who knows. Kid's been a monkey. So I think we have figured out a way to keep that from happening. He's been doing a better job this week. So hopefully there'll be less of an issue going forward. But yeah, so let's see here. So when last we talked, it was Tuesday of last week. So starting with Wednesday, we got starting with Wednesday, we had the Wednesday morning track workout, 4 times 5 minutes threshold, some hill sprints, warming up, cooling down.
So yeah, we're here for the Wednesday morning workout. It's about 5 a.m. or so. We're getting there. Francine is here, though, so it is raining out. It is wet. It's warm again, though. It's like, 71-ish or something like that instead of like 60. But, yeah, this is going to be fun doing these threshold intervals in the rain. It's going to feel great. I love running in the rain.
But it was right as Hurricane Francine, and granted, we're far enough north that it wasn't an issue, but it was rolling through, and we got some rain. It was nice and cool. We started, I want to say it was like 68 degrees or something like that at the start, so it wasn't cold, but in the rain, it felt okay, But about halfway through the workout, I think maybe by the time we were done with the second threshold interval, it had stopped raining. So it started getting a little steamy, and it felt okay while we were running, but man, we noticed on the recovery bits when we weren't moving as fast, we're like, man, this is steamy, it's warm. But we executed well, reps went well. We'll talk about that here.
All right, so yeah, this is basically what the workout looked like. We're at the track, tech, 4 times 5 minutes, a couple hill repeats, and then warming up, cooling down on the front end and the back end. Felt pretty good. I don't trust my heart rate monitor a ton, because obviously, my heart rate wasn't at 215 when we started. 150 is probably a little more accurate here at the tail end. The rest of it looks
about right, you know. But more importantly, we were hitting, 545, 550 ish on these threshold intervals. No, we were running counterclockwise, and he's a little sketchy. Don't really trust my watch a ton in terms of exact instantaneous pace when it's raining and stormy and windy and crap. It's just not that reliable. But the pacing looks smooth. My watch thought it was smooth anyway. I think the third rep was actually a hair slow because I goofed. 459, 456. So there's like that is a little on the slow side. But then we picked it up for the third one. But I think this one was actually a little slow based on like where I actually was on the track. But I think that's just because I was trying to do math while running, and that never works out. So don't try to do that. But with a group of guys, so I was running out lanes like 5, 6, 8, something like that. So overall, I went pretty happy. I was pretty happy with it. The turnover rate, 170-ish, which is about right for threshold work for me. I don't have a super high turnover rate, 158 to 160 when I'm just going easy. I was pretty happy with my hill sprints, though. Those felt pretty good. The left leg was a little clunky on the first one, the second one a little bit, but then by the third one, we're firing all cylinders. Thursday, I woke up very tired and crabby. Wednesday night, I stayed up too late. I run a D&D session on Wednesday nights, and normally it's great time, but I was just kind of crabby, especially after Andrew waking everybody up for multiple days. And I just hadn't been getting enough sleep. So I was tired and crabby, and the Wednesday was a long, hard day. So it was scheduled to be a quote-unquote rest day. I got my 1 mile easy in, hung out at the coffee shop for a while in the morning, had some coffee with a friend. It was great. Did some problem solving. I was in a much better mood by Thursday afternoon. Got a good night's sleep. Friday morning, felt much better. Right. So Friday morning we went out, got our easy miles in. Flashback to Wednesday. I did lift with Julia, my wife, on Wednesday. So standard protocol is we lift Monday, Wednesday, Friday at 8 o'clock in the morning after dropping the kids off for school. So 5 a.m. track workout, did the threshold intervals, came back, lifted, and Wednesdays we can lift a little heavier. It was a down week though, so we didn't get too nuts. Friday, got some easy miles in the morning, and I was tired still, and I got my long run on Saturdays, so I don't lift crazy on Fridays. Fridays tend to be kind of stability focused, maybe some band work, but basically a lot of core, hip stability kind of stuff, injury prevention kind of stuff that all of us runners need to do. So we did some more band work, kind of like we did on Monday, but we... not quite as much of it. And then Saturday came around for the down week long run, and I had somewhere between 13 and 15 miles planned. I was kind of go easy the whole time. We're not doing any goal marathon pace reps. So I decided to use it as an opportunity to kind of start working on fueling, and kind of race day kind of set up, kind of deal. So I wore my super comps instead of my ultras. Normally I run in the Ultra Vanish Tempos because they're like the perfect shoe for me. I love them. But I haven't been racing in them. Last couple races been racing in the super comp from New Balance, the old version of it, because I got it on clearance. Because if you can get super shoes for half price, you can't turn that down. But my big toe on my left foot, the toe joint, was feeling a little beat up because I got I got pretty good bunions on my big toes. Good genetics, thanks, Ma. But which is part of the reason I wear ultras, by the way, they give you a bigger toe box. But I was a little sore from doing some 90/90s or groiners, depending on what you call them. Basically just rolling on it and posting up, kind of doing some hip activation, glute activation kind of stuff while lifting on Friday. I was doing it barefoot, so I really kind of ground that big toe into the ground, and it wasn't happy with me. So a little bit of extra cushion from the super comps was good. and kind of get a feel for how they're feeling. I hadn't really worn them a bunch. I wore them for a couple of recovery runs when I felt like I need some cushion, but I haven't worn them for quality workouts in a while. So I wore them and tested some nutrition. I got the goo packets in, had a couple of those along with a couple scoops of Tailwind in my handheld, and I had banana before going, because typically for me, for race day morning, breakfast is, banana, half a cup of coffee, and a naked juice, Blue Machine naked juice. And get some B12 in you, really get firing, hydrate a little bit of caffeine from the coffee, a little bit of food from the banana. And then, I onboard, I run with my handheld, and I onboard Tailwind during the race. And I start with it stronger and then just have them refill it with straight water as I go through the race. So it gets a little diluted. But then I also take a goo, every 20, 30 minutes. I'm going to try to bump it up. I'm going to try to get to the point where we'll see if we can do this. Take a goo every 20 minutes on race day, just to really kind of hit that, optimal carbohydrate intake. So your brain isn't trying to be too stingy with carbohydrates, and you're onboarding them, and you can burn them and assimilate them quickly and use them as fuel. That way you can keep running quick the whole time. So that's the plan. So we're kind of testing the nutrition, 2 scoops of Tailwind in the handheld. I haven't done that in a while. So just kind of that heavier concentration of sugar plus the goo packets. I took 2 of them. I didn't take the first one till almost an hour into the run, and then took the second one at an hour and 20. So just kind of seeing how the stomach handled getting that much goo in me that close together. And it went great. It was awesome. Felt great. It wasn't the speediest of runs, but that wasn't the goal. We're testing nutrition, testing the shoes, see how they felt. I didn't keep it super flat either. I ran up to the park. I was going to run on the Greenway, but I think I did end up running on the Greenway back, maybe a little bit. But anyway, they were doing some paving along the route I'd normally take to get to Cook Park and back on the North Greenway. So I avoided that and just went up the main road instead of on the Greenway. Hit the bathroom, refilled the handheld after running a little bit on the Greenway, and then did just kind of some wandering around the neighborhood, so to speak. Just kind of getting the miles in, found a couple of hills, and it was good. It was good, down week long run, 13.5 miles. A little tired afterwards. Hip flexors, low abs, as per usual, we're pretty tired on the tail end. So, that's one of the weak links in the chain. So we know that's what we need to work on in the gym, when we're doing our gym work, Monday or Sunday came around. Nice, easy little short recovery run, 30, 35 minutes, something like that. Just nice, easy miles. Felt pretty good. Decent night's sleep. I stayed up a little late on Sunday as well. I'm noticing a pattern here. So, again, stayed up late Sunday night. Not late, but I was in bed by 10. But I got up at 5:15 or something like that. And I was out the door by 5:40-ish, 5:40, 5:45. To go run an 11-mile medium long run before lifting. So went out and ran the 11 miles or so. This time I did go up the Greenway because they weren't paving at 6 o'clock in the morning. And what we have learned is that even with a headlamp, that Greenway is a little too dark before that kind of first light of the day. And so I ended up slowing down quite a bit for that mile. I was on the gravel, a little slower than I really wanted to go, but I also don't want to roll my ankle. So, yeah. When we first moved here, story time. When we first moved here, I volunteered for the Coach Stanley, the then head track and cross country coach at Tech, for cross country, helping out with the women's team. And one of the first workouts they did that fall was mile repeats on the Greenway. And it's gravel, but not super little pea gravel, but big chunks of gravel. And it was still fairly new. And I watched one girl end her senior season 10 meters from the end of the first rep. Stepped on a rock and it popped out from underneath her, rolled her ankle. She was on crutches for several weeks. And it ended her senior year of cross country and track. It just put her out. So I have never done quality work on the North Greenway because of that. Even if it is a little packed down now, and they occasionally put some new gravel out there, but as a general rule of thumb, I'm not trying to run fast there. I ran fast for 5K there for the Peach Fest this year, but That's general thumb, especially in the dark. Nope, not doing it. So I slowed way down. Saw 3 other idiots out there in the dark. Stopped at the bathroom, refilled my handheld, coming back. It was just light enough I was able to run on the Greenway. It was fine. So it's real unfortunate because it's almost exactly 11 miles there and back with bathroom at the halfway to refill your handheld. And obviously you don't have to deal with traffic, which, right at dawn, 6 o'clock in the morning, it's kind of nice. I don't like getting run over. So we'll see how that plays out. We'll have to figure something out for the next couple weeks. The other thing we learned is we probably can't do more than 11 or 12 miles for that Monday medium long run that early in the morning. Because I got fairly dehydrated, despite drinking a bunch of water before leaving, taking my handheld with me, refilling the handheld at the halfway point, and it's still dehydrated enough that, some post-nasal drip was kind of just, catching in my throat, the last half mile. So I started, doing the cat hacking up a hairball noise a little bit, kind of getting back to the house. Not fun. Yeah, hydration is going to be an issue getting up that early in the morning for a medium long run. We'll have to figure something out, so that's another thing we're going to have to address. We're learning all kinds of things. But today, Tuesday, the next day, and then we lifted after the medium long run. I got home, rushed out the door, got Andrew to school. We were the second to last car in car line, but we got him there on time. And that's the important part. And then I went and had enough time to drink my smoothie. I essentially made oatmeal as a smoothie. It was actually so thick. I seriously thought about pouring the coffee I'd made, some of it into my water bottle that had the smoothie in it, my shaker bottle, to thin it out a little bit so I could drink it. Because that was second breakfast, was essentially oatmeal in a blender bottle. And it had cherries and peanut butter and oats and a banana and protein powder and soy milk. So it's good for post-run. Because, that one banana and tailwind for breakfast before that wasn't quite enough after running 11 miles. So I had that with a cup of coffee, and then met Julia, a little while later. I probably had about an hour and a half, not even an hour and a half, a little over an hour to kind of refuel a little bit before meeting her to lift. So we did a couple rounds, some stability lifting, did some squats on the Bosu ball, which is super great, working on that lower leg, lower body, core stability kind of stuff, because it's super wobbly, and it just amplifies how wobbly you are on solid ground. So post long run, it hits the spot. The goal of the day was essentially to drain the glycogen so that your body learns to be a little more stingy with it, so that you can, so you don't hit the wall at mile 20. So we did some stability ball squats, or some Bosu squats. We did some chest press on the stability ball, where you use it as a bench. So you got to keep your core engaged and glutes are engaged while you're doing your chest press. So you're still functionally doing core work and stability work and all the stuff you need to do as a runner. But we get to do a little bit of upper body stuff, and I like to do a little bit of shoulder stability work, because between spraining my AC joint and getting run over by a car, my shoulders, they're fine. I don't have any issues, but I'd like to make sure I'm doing my homework. That way I don't have issues. So I want to make sure that shoulder girdle is stable and structurally sound. I don't want a rotator cuff injury, assuming I don't already have one. So we did that. We did some rows on the cable machine, one arm at a time. So you got to really stabilize with the core to keep it from rotating. You want to keep the core stable, moving just the arm. And then we did some high knee lunges as well. Again, just working on kind of the balance and core stability when you're tired. It kind of amplifies all the instabilities you have. And then today, just an easy half hour on the North Greenway. And so that's the week's, folks. Tomorrow morning, we got somewhere between 12 and 20 strides we're going to do for the Wednesday morning workout at the track. We'll probably try to hit 20. We kind of have got to kind of rearrange the schedule for this week. So we're going to have to bump the long run from Saturday to Friday, because I'm going to be single dadding it this weekend while Julia's out of town. And so yeah, trying to like I don't want to have to pay for a babysitter, so I go do my long run on Saturday. So I'm just gonna bump it back to Friday morning, and she's gonna take care of getting the kids to school, make sure we got everything ready to go Thursday night, essentially. So shout out, hon. Thanks, I really appreciate it. And that way we can get our 16-mile long run with a bunch of miles at goal marathon pace, hopefully, in Friday morning. And then we'll get back to the gym and lift. And then this weekend will be a couple of short, easy runs. I imagine I may ask the neighbor kid if she can babysit for 45 minutes on Saturday so I can get a recovery run in before waiting. I'll probably just wait for Julia to get home on Sunday to get my easy run in on Wednesday. So, or Sunday rather. So, at any rate, that's the weekly update. For everyone who got into Boston, congrats. It's amazing. It really is a one-of-a-kind race. So, cheers to you. That's all for this week, folks. We'll catch you next week. Until then, train smart.